Ever wondered how a simple fingerprint can lead to the capture of a criminal? A single, unique impression left behind can set off a chain of events, unraveling a mystery and leading us to justice. This is the intrigue of crime solving, a process that is far more complex and captivating than what we see on our television screens. Crime shows and movies have a knack for romanticizing this process. They draw us in with their dramatic narratives, flashy technology, and the allure of a solved case within an hour. But the reality? It's a world far more intricate and painstaking, where cases can take weeks, months, or even years to solve. Real-life police work is not just about finding a single piece of evidence and catching the bad guy. It's about making connections, following leads, and piecing together a puzzle that's often missing many of its parts. It's about tireless dedication, a meticulous eye for detail, and an unwavering commitment to justice. It's about teamwork, where forensic experts, detectives, and officers collaborate to solve the case. We have all seen those scenes where a single fingerprint is found, and suddenly, the criminal is in custody. But what we don't see is the countless hours spent in the lab, analyzing the evidence. We don't see the painstaking work of detectives, chasing down leads, interviewing witnesses, and piecing together the story. We don't see the officers on the beat, patrolling our streets and keeping us safe. The complexities of real police work can be overwhelming. There are procedures to follow, laws to abide by, and a plethora of challenges to overcome. But it's these complexities that make it all the more fascinating. The intrigue of crime solving goes beyond the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. It's about the pursuit of truth, the quest for justice, and the tireless dedication of those who serve and protect. So, buckle up as we delve into the fascinating world of real-life police work. We're about to take you on a journey into the heart of crime solving, where the stakes are high, the work is challenging, and the rewards can be life-changing. Let's take a look at a real-life case, the infamous Baker Street burglary of 1971. On a seemingly ordinary night, a crime was committed that would go down in history. The Baker Street burglary, a daring heist carried out by a gang of robbers, remains one of the most audacious crimes in Britain's history. The safe deposit boxes of Lloyd's Bank on Baker Street were broken into, and an estimated £3 million worth of cash and valuables were stolen. The suspects? An unlikely group. The ringleader was a small-time crook named Anthony Gavin, aided by his accomplices Reg Tucker and Thomas Stevens. They were not hardened criminals, but rather ordinary men who saw an opportunity and seized it. The police were first notified by a ham radio enthusiast who reported hearing strange conversations over the radio. The authorities initially dismissed it as a hoax, but when the report persisted, they dispatched officers to investigate. Upon arriving at the scene, the police found no signs of forced entry. The vault door was intact, the alarm system was fully functional, and there was no immediate evidence of a crime. This was not a smash and grab, it was a meticulous operation that required careful planning and execution. The immediate steps taken by the police were to secure the scene, gather preliminary evidence, and interview potential witnesses. They also initiated a citywide search for the suspects, using the scant information they had. The investigation was carried out under a cloak of secrecy to avoid tipping off the criminals and to prevent public panic. The stolen items were never recovered, and it was only through dogged detective work, surveillance, and a bit of luck that the culprits were eventually caught and brought to justice. The Baker Street burglary case serves as a stark reminder of the lengths criminals will go to, and the efforts of law enforcement to bring them to justice. This case provides a perfect example of the initial stages of police work following a crime. Now, let's delve into the investigative process that followed the Baker Street burglary. The process of solving a crime is akin to piecing together a complex jigsaw puzzle, where every fragment plays an essential role. The first step in this intricate dance is gathering evidence. This can range from the obvious, such as fingerprints or DNA left at the scene, to the less obvious, like tiny fibers or fragments of paint. Our dedicated officers meticulously scour the crime scene, leaving no stone unturned, no corner unchecked. Now, while physical evidence is crucial, it isn't the only piece of the puzzle. The human element, namely the witnesses, play a pivotal role as well. Officers conduct exhaustive interviews, patiently coaxing out details that witnesses themselves may not even realize are significant. The color of a car, a distinctive ringtone, an unusual scent. These seemingly trivial details, when woven together, can paint a vivid picture of the crime. Then we have the eye that never sleeps. Security footage. In an age where cameras are nearly as ubiquitous as light bulbs, they serve as silent sentinels. Capturing crucial moments, that can turn the tide of an investigation. Officers painstakingly review these reels of footage, often frame by frame, hunting for that one elusive clue. But what happens to all this evidence once it's collected? Here's where the chain of custody comes into play. It's a rigorous process that ensures the integrity of the evidence from collection to courtroom. Every individual who handles the evidence must be meticulously documented, preserving its credibility. And let's not forget the unsung heroes of crime solving, the forensic scientists. Their role cannot be overstated. They breathe life into the evidence, extracting stories from silent witnesses like bloodstains, fingerprints, and strands of hair. They are the detectives of the microscopic, the seekers of truth in the unseen. Each piece of evidence, no matter how small, can be a stepping stone towards solving the puzzle. Remember, in the world of crime solving, every detail matters, and nothing is ever as simple as it seems. With enough evidence in hand, it was time for the police to make their move. So begins our dive into the fourth stage of crime solving: catching the culprit. Once the police have identified potential suspects and gathered sufficient evidence, the process of tracking down the culprits commences. This is a delicate and intricate procedure that requires a combination of surveillance, stealth, and strategic planning. The police may employ various methods to locate the suspect. These can range from traditional legwork, such as canvassing neighborhoods and interviewing acquaintances, to more modern techniques like using digital footprints and GPS tracking. It's a game of patience and persistence, where every minute detail could be the key to locating the suspects. Once the suspect is located, an arrest can be made. But an arrest is not just about slapping on handcuffs. There's a process that needs to be followed to ensure the rights of the suspect are protected. This is where the famous Miranda rights come into play. You've probably heard them in movies or TV shows. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. These rights, read out at the time of arrest, are a critical part of the U.S. justice system. They ensure that the suspect is aware of their right to avoid self-incrimination and their right to legal representation. The process of making an arrest is a delicate balance between enforcing the law and respecting individual rights. It's a dance between detectives and suspects, where the detectives must ensure that they have followed every protocol to the letter. A single misstep could mean the difference between a successful prosecution and a case dismissed on a technicality. The arrest marks a significant milestone in the case, but the work is far from over. With the suspect in custody, the next phase begins, building a case that will stand up in court. But that's a story for another scene. For now, let's take a moment to appreciate the diligence and tenacity of our law enforcement officers in their quest to bring culprits to justice. After the arrest, the case moves from the hands of the police to the court. The wheels of justice begin to turn, and a new phase of resolution commences. The court is a stage where the truth is sought and justice is served. Here, the evidence gathered by the police plays a crucial role, serving as the cornerstone for the prosecution's case. The police in this context become more than just enforcers of law. They become vital witnesses. Their testimony can make or break a case. They recount the details of the crime scene, explain the significance of each piece of evidence, and recall their interactions with the accused. Their professional integrity and diligence come under scrutiny as the defense attorney cross-examines them, seeking to find any potential gaps or inconsistencies. Take, for instance, the recent Baker Street burglary case. The police officers involved presented compelling evidence, including surveillance footage, fingerprints, and recovered stolen items. Their testimonies were succinct and unswerving, standing firm against the defense's attempt to discredit them. As the gavel fell, the verdict was announced: guilty as charged. The decision brought a sigh of relief to the victims and the community who had been living in fear since the burglary. The sentence served not only as a punishment for the perpetrator, but also as a deterrent for potential criminals. However, the closure of a case doesn't mean the end of its impact. The victims of the Baker Street burglary, for example, may still grapple with feelings of violation and fear. The community may still feel the tremors of the crime, affecting their sense of safety and trust. Moreover, each case leaves an indelible imprint on the police force. It provides valuable lessons that can help in future investigations, refining their methods, and enhancing their efficiency. And thus, the case is closed, but the effects of the crime and the lessons learned continue to echo. Every case is a step towards a safer society, a reminder of the relentless pursuit of justice, and a testament to the tireless dedication of the police force. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned today. Police work after a crime is a methodical journey, examining unseen details and unraveling more than just clues. Evidence plays a pivotal role, shaping the narrative of the investigation. But it doesn't stop there. It's the court's role to bring closure, ensuring justice is served. Remember, while crime shows can be entertaining, the real work of solving crimes is a complex process that requires diligence, patience, and a keen eye for detail.